Welcome back to SendCutSend Community College. This is our office hours session where we answer your questions in a clear and simple way. Now grab your notebooks and let's get into it. Making a simple part on CAD can sometimes be the most frustrating of experiences. So in this office hours, we're going to focus just on a simple part. We're going to do like an exhaust flange gasket or water flange gasket, just a very simple part that we can focus on the dimensions, the different tools that are in CAD on the sketch side of things, and how to constrain it. Now, come over to the board first, and we're going to talk about just what that basic shape is going to be. Now, a lot of flanges like this for gaskets are going to have that through hole. This is maybe where the water is going to pass through. We're going to have those mounting holes on the outside for the bolts to come through. And then we're going to have the outer shape. Now, sorry about my drawing. We're just going to draw this really quick. We're going to make it look better in CAD. But this is great for like a gasket material, which SendCutSend just has a ton of new gaskets on there, so go check those out. Coming into CAD, we're going to focus on just that center hole being the first part that we're going to draw, and we're going to work everything off of that on the origin. First thing we need to do, like always, create that sketch. Clicking on sketch, we're going to click on the XY plane, draw this on a flat orientation. And like I said, we want that through hole to come through first. So we're going to click on center diameter circle and click on that origin to lock it in there and open this up. Now this is actually a great opportunity here. We're in millimeters. A great way to switch those, we've kind of not talked about this, is go up to the units area on our tree, click on that. We can change from millimeters to inches really easily. Now that we're in inches, if I add a dimension to this, I can do that through the create, or I have it tagged here as well. We can add that dimension. Let's just call this a 1-inch through hole that we're going to have for our gasket. Now the next thing is I want to draw out those mounting holes. And I want that to be obviously centered across where that through hole is going to be. Now there's a couple different ways we can do this, but a way that I like to do it is I want to draw a construction line. So we're going to add a line, but we're going to come up to our sketch palette. We're going to click on construction, and we're going to just draw this straight across. Now if it's flat, we're going to automatically get the constraint added of being horizontal or vertical. On this one it's horizontal. But we're going to come up to our constraints now, click on midpoint. We're going to click on our line, and then our center or our origin of our hole. The cool thing is now is that I can go anywhere I want with these, and it's always going to be centered around that. Where we want it to be parametric, so I can change that at any given time. Here I can add that dimension really quickly. We'll call this 1.75. And then now I can add those through holes here. But right now we're on construction line, so we're going to hit escape, turn off construction, and then we can add those holes. Add the first one, and then the second one here. Now we can go ahead and add diameters. For this, we're going to just do a 1/4-inch hole, and we can use the equal function to make each one of these holes the same size. Clicking that, now they're the same size. So if I change this dimension here, so if I go to 375, both of them change equally with each other. Again, making it parametric. Again, I can change this dimension down here as well to 2 inches, and our holes are going to be working with that. Change this back to 1.75. Now the next thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to draw essentially 2 offset circles around our through holes and as well our through gasket here. Now this is going to be the outside of that body. We're going to do this through a modify feature called offset. Click on offset. We're going to click on this hole. We're going to drag this up, and we're going to add a 200 thousandths wall around the outside of it. Click OK. Now we have that extra hole here, or circle. We're going to do the same thing around our outside holes here. We're going to add the 250 and one last one on this other hole. So we're just adding those offsets again at 250 thousandths of an inch. And you can see that dimension comes through here. We can always change that to 200 if we want. We can change this one back to 200 as well. So all that's kind of working with it. Now the last thing we need to do is just bridge this gap between those 2 holes, and then we can do a trim feature to clean this up. So we're going to click on the line, and we're going to click on our circle, and we're going to come up, and if we work up slowly, we can see this little tangent icon pop up. If I click there, it automatically adds that tangent relationship to our outside circle. Now this is a little quick way to add constraints without having to do them manually. So we can add some of these in here. So as we get the last one in, all of our center points are tangent, but our outside points are not. So we need to add that by coming up to constraint, clicking on tangent. We're going to click on the line, then the circle. And now we can see that that line is fully black and defined, and we're ready to go up there. We're going to do that same thing on the rest of the lines here. And now we have that overall shape that we're looking for, drawn much better than I did on the board, and we're ready to move on. Now the last thing that we want to do is we want to go to modify and trim. T is the quick key for this, or it's the little scissors icon. This is going to allow us to remove the unwanted lines that are inside of our part. If I hit escape right now, I have all of these broken up profiles that are kind of annoying if we're wanting to create that 3D shape. Trim's going to allow us to clean that up. So hitting T, we can click on these and we're going to remove these lines. One thing you might notice is that we lose sometimes our constraints or our dimensions, and that makes us essentially have to redefine the shapes. So right now things are blue, so I can move things that I don't necessarily want to move. Sometimes this happens, sometimes it doesn't. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here, add a new dimension. I used D as the quick key for that. We'll add back in that one dimension that we wanted here, as well as on the other side. We have this one last one. And all of our other relationships are carrying through. So now we're fully defined. We have everything there, everything's black. I can't click and move anything. I'm ready to now extrude or create that sheet metal body. Now, this is a DXF, so we can go ahead and save this and take it directly to SendCutSend's website. Or we can go to sheet metal, create that flange of this area here, and we're going to do a new component. We can drop this down to any thickness that we want, creating that three-dimensional body. Now we can also take that step file straight from here, or put that into SendCutSend's plugin and add it directly to your cart. Now, parts like this, just take your time, use those dimensions and constraints that we've talked about in all the lessons, and you can get simple parts like this made very easily. To get your questions answered, drop a comment underneath the lessons, and we'll see you on the next one.